Howdy folks, welcome to Space Engineers 2. The vertical slice 2.3 update, I believe it was, is out. It's the D.A.D update, Drive, Automate, and Detonate. So we're going to dive in and do at least a few episodes and check that out. I wanted to quickly go over some mods that I've got. Basically just some quality of life type stuff. Nothing major. The UI custom icons, the icons were just a little kind of overbearing. So this tones those down a little bit, gives them a little bit of transparency. They're just not quite as in your face. A couple things to reduce the flash. I know that bothers some people. So we've got no water flash and drill flash reducer. There's a nicer floor panel for some bases. I just thought that was kind of cool. And this maxes out the PCU because I don't want to be bothered with limits on that. Let's load in. Basically what I've done is just started up a classic survival. And we're here with the drop pod, and that's it. Haven't really done anything else. So we're going to load in. We're on Verdure. I think that's how you say that. It's the Earth-like planet. So the goal basically is to get established. First thing I need is energy, because the drop pod in this new version, it doesn't come with a survival kit or anything. It's literally just a seat you can't use. You can't use any of these seats. That's pretty much it. I want to get out of the desert, so we're probably going to go over there and set up. But one thing I wanted to do was, in Space Engineers 2, wow, the footsteps are super loud. You can take the power with you. So I wanted to find the battery. Here it is. Take that power module. So now we have a power module with 30% power in it. We can take that with us and use it somewhere if needed. No need to waste it. But I am going to grind this down, and I've redone my icon so that's more familiar. I'm used to 1, 2, 3 being set up with welder, grinder, drill. So I changed that out. I'm going to grind up some of this to take with us, and then we're going to head over there and try to get established with a survival kit and some power. So I'll be right back. So while I'm grinding this stuff down, a couple things come to note. Unfortunately, they still haven't changed the time to grind, so you can grind down a huge component or one of these little tiny detail blocks. It takes the same amount of time. That's pretty disappointing to see. I was kind of hoping we would see a little more progress in that kind of thing, but oh well. The other thing is the tools are incredibly loud. I have the master volume set to 50%. I turned the tools all the way down to 25%. They're still crazy loud. I'm not sure. Is that even taking effect? Put that on 5%. I don't think that's... Oh, it's changing that, but not the boom type sounds. Okay. I have not played a ton of Space Engineers 2. So I'm definitely a little rusty on how everything works. Ah, that's the sound effect. So it did lower the sound on the tools. I think that's a little more manageable on the sound effects. I didn't figure there's any need of this stuff going to waste, so I'm going to grind pretty much all of it down. There's no hydrogen in the tank. I did check that. I got a bunch of like steel tubes and stuff from various things. So I'm going to grind up most of this, and then we'll head over and start getting a little base established with a survival kit and some power. Alrighty, I've got just about everything of any consequence ground off of here. We've got 3/4 of a suit full of stuff. Let's head out here. So we do have a jetpack. One big change from Space Engineers 1 is the jetpack doesn't use hydrogen fuel unless you're using the boost function. It just uses suit power. So keep an eye on your suit power. Don't pull a splitsy and run out of power. So I'd like to find kind of a flattish area maybe. You can see we got some copper, noise. Also you can just drill the ground to get little bits of iron. Rock gives you a little bit of silicon or nickel. And then the sand will give you silicon. Does that give me anything? No, it just kind of breaks. Oh no, I got a little bit of silicon from the rock. Maybe that's considered sand still. So copper is good. Now, is this giving us... Yeah, that gives us iron. All right, so we're on the dirt. This might not be a bad place right here to set up shop. One thing I'm going to do is if I go to map and GPS, I don't necessarily need to see all these things. I'm going to turn them off. There we go. Makes it a little cleaner. We've got some copper nearby, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and get a kind of a grid set up just to build on. So one thing I want to do is, I'm not super familiar with the new building options. So let me look for like panels. Wall inset panel, deck panel. There we go. I wonder if I have that on one of my other bars. I'm not sure. I did get a bunch of the bars set up for all the various things. So if we do a deck panel, I want to align that. There's a new grid. B is alignment. Gravity aligned. There we go. That's what I want. And another new feature is if it's floating, it'll put in some little blocks for you, which is pretty handy. And then the blueprint building system itself is pretty new as well. I am not used to this at all. There we go. First we got the unified grid system, which greatly increases your building freedom. Let's do that for now. And then I don't think I really want these little, what's a truss block? What's that look like? Eh, that's not terrible, but I don't really want it on that random spot right there. Oh no! That disappeared all my stuff. All right. Duly noted. Do I need to do new grid? There we go. So do that, and then rotate that. Just do a little 2x2 to get us started. So we're kind of off the ground a bit. Then somewhere I had blocks. So if we did some of these. Can I stick you on there? Yeah, there we go. So let's do that. And then that. This takes a couple steel plates. Perfect. We'll get a fancier base, but my main plan is to, you know, get a survival kit up so we have power and a place to heal and whatnot. And then we're going to build a rover. We're going to do some exploring with a rover because we've got the wheels now in this update. So that's my kind of first plan. All right, and then we can get rid of you. Oh, you're not even welded yet. So I need to do, can I do this and then right click on you? There we go. Now, is there a way to pick? If there's a way to pick what you're looking at, I don't remember. I don't remember what that is. I'm going to have to learn the controls a little better. That'll do for now. Let's get our survival kit down, which I think is 3. No, that's a refinery. 8. Survival kit. There we go. Let's get this bad boy going. And it is indeed offline. And then we should have everything we need, I think, for that. Obstruction detected. Oh, I was standing in the way. My bad. Okay, so now we have a survival kit. We just need some power for it. And we need a battery for that. Where did I put batteries? That's a giant battery. We can change the size. For now, let's just get a little battery down here. I just need to recharge my suit at the moment. Or should we just go ahead and build the big guy? Yeah, let's just go ahead and build the big guy. And we can stick him underneath, I think. And just stick him... like that. I could get used to the new building system. It's very different from the original game. Here we go. And I think that comes with a... oh, shoot, I put it in the wrong spot. That comes with a power module, so you can kind of cheese that. Oops. Yeah, let's turn this around. So we had the battery was here. Here we go. Then I want to rotate you around so the power module is here, and then we can just tuck you back in there. I like the new building system. I just have to get used to it. So it comes with that power module. I think they all start at 30%. Yeah. We can use these. Eventually you can build like bigger batteries. So we'll keep them. All right, so we have a battery. That means this is online now, and I can recharge. So now we need some power coming in to charge our battery. So let's build a bit of a maybe a wind turbine and a solar panel setup. But let's take a quick look in the controls. Search controls. Copy grid. No. I thought there was a way to pick the block you're looking at. Pick? Nope. Okay, well, whatever. We shall soldier on. So somewhere in here I had grid panels. Yeah, there we go. So we'll use these to kind of build things out. So I'm going to come out this way a little bit and we'll get some power going. Like that. And then if I turn my jetpack on, I can go underneath here. Turn that around. Like that. Oh yeah, we have to start over here. Forget, we're not putting down frames. It's just a blueprint, so you have to build out from something that exists. Cool. Let's do that, and then we can go back, and let's go up a little ways. I don't know how tall this needs to be. Let's go up like 3. And then somewhere in here I had the wind turbine. This need to be a bigger... Ooh, that's... There is no other size? I thought these had a different size variant. Maybe that. Okay. Bonk. Let's see if we can get this going. I know some stuff's going to be locked behind going to space or finding materials, like pistons and rotors and stuff like that, I think, are kind of locked by material. We'll have to figure all that out as we go. But we do have most of the stuff now in Space Engineers 2, like we had in the first one. Yeah, so here we need stuff, and I'm basically out of stuff. So we're going to need iron, silicon, and nickel. That's all easily findable. We got some copper over there, which is nice. And even got some lead over that way. What we really need is an iron deposit, though. That would be great. Yeah, I think I was just digging the soil earlier. And that's what gave me the materials. I didn't look to see how much silicon we needed. Let's grab like 100 or so, and we'll see how we get along. And then I believe this should be iron. So it's more like dirt. And if we drill down, we should eventually hit rock. That's my understanding. Maybe? Still does the thing where it stands you up all the time. Yeah, now we're into rock, we get nickel. Here we go. We got about 100. Ooh, is that cobalt? Or is that just blue? It's just blue reflection, I think. Let me out of here. See if I can right-click drill my way out. There we go. So I got about 100 of each. Oh, we need a bunch of iron and a bunch of nickel. All right. Duly noted. I don't have a deposit, so I'm just going to have to drill, unfortunately. That's a lot of iron. I think I can get enough nickel. I only needed like 400 kilograms of that. Iron, I needed almost 3.5 tons, it looks like. So it'd probably behoove me to go find an iron deposit. We'll eventually need a lot of iron for building. So let me do some drilling, and I'll do some iron prospecting, and I'll be back. Alright, found some iron, not too far from the base. Also found some nickel and magnesium. Found pretty much everything nearby. It's one of the things I am not a huge fan of in SE2 is lots and lots of tiny ore deposits. I'd rather have fewer, larger deposits so you could engineer, you know, like mining operations. I don't know. We'll see. It's still, you know, in development. See what they come up with in the final game. Or at least have the preference. Options are always good because different people like different things. Alright, we're pretty well full. We got about 4 tons, it looks like, of iron. So let's see if we can get out of my little iron hole here. I didn't right-click drill all the way down. I was getting some nickel as we went through this rock. Yeah, the drilling is... the tool interaction in general is a little weird. Yeah, man. Let me out of here. Fight our way back to the surface. And eventually we'll have a ship to mine with, so... probably be a moot point. Yay, we made it. I need a compass. I need to look and see if there's a mod for that. So we have nickel and I have base. There we go. I started adding some GPS markers. Now we should be able to weld up the wind turbine and we'll get some power coming in. Beauty. Alright, that looks dumb, but this is just a little starter base. You know, to get started, we can make something fancier later. Here we go. I need some cargo, so let's take a look at... do I have cargo in here somewhere? I tried to set up a bunch of things. I don't remember where I put everything. That's a reactor. We don't need that. We have the battery with the cockpit. All that stuff. I may not actually have cargo on here. One thing we will need is the refinery smelter. We'll need a smelter at some point. We'll want to hook that up to... yeah, we've got connections on the back. Let's just stick that there. This will let us make the more advanced parts. Which we'll probably need for a rover. I'm not 100% sure. It kind of switches back and forth between using the components I have and the raw materials. Which is nice. Alright, now we need some kind of conveyor system hooking this stuff together. So we'll get that sorted out in a bit. Let's get a cargo container. And then what's we got? Yeah, that's a huge one. It's got connectors on all sides, it looks like. What's it take to build one of those bad boys? Just iron and nickel? Okay. Might be a little short on stuff. A little short on nickel, it looks like. Alright. Well, I found a nickel deposit over here. Whee! Oh, I forgot I was holding down shift. Don't do that. We don't have ice for hydrogen production yet. So we want to just use suit power at the moment. Now, actually, we'll get some silicon, so I'll kind of drill down. The tool interaction is really iffy. That needs some work. It's just inconsistent. But that'll stuff, the polish will all come later. This is just a vertical slice phase. Getting the systems in. It's like the wheels. They don't really have much options yet. I think spring, dampness, or dampener, and the acceleration. Can't set like steering or any of that stuff yet. Can't change the braking power. Come on, nickel deposit. I see you down here. Give me that sweet, sweet nickel. So I've gone back and forth on the kind of rover. I don't know if I want to build like a tiny little scout rover and go find a better base location, or if I want to go ahead and kind of establish myself here and then build a fairly large, like almost roving base kind of rover. I haven't quite decided yet. While I'm down here, I'm just going to grab a ton of nickel. And then we can build our cargo and we can throw it in the cargo. Detecting new nickel. Gotcha. It's the same deposit. Alright, that's good enough. Let's see if we can get out of here now. Like I'm holding right click and it just doesn't do anything. I think they're going for the tool has to touch the thing, which is fine, but could use a little bit of tweaking for playability. And there we go. Now we have some cargo space. So let me dump our raw materials in there. Is it shift click? Double click? It's double click. All right. So that'll hold, wow, that holds 67 tons. Okay. Well, I'm glad I built the large one. That's flippin' huge. Yeah, I do like the new build system. Am I out of steel plates? I am out of steel plates. All right. Could have the smelter make some, I suppose. Is that what it does? I actually don't know what it does. Production. Yeah, it makes steel plates. Can we still do shift for 10? No. We have to do this? Really? Come on, guys. Well, make me 20 steel plates. And then you don't have any iron. Fair enough. Double click. Alright, I need to go drill some more. Naturally. But hey, we got some power. Let's check our battery. 6 hours. So that's, yeah, it's slowly filling up. I need to redo that. That looks ridiculous. But let me see. I want to get some solar power. And then I think we'll call it an episode. And I'll gather some resources before the next episode. So we can just build. We'll just work on the rover. That'd be the plan. What do you need? Silicon. Just silicon. Apparently don't have any glass. Alright. I used most of my silicon already. So I need another, call it 400 silicon. Alright. And we already got copper. That's super nice. We found most of the stuff. I don't remember seeing silicon anywhere. Come on. It's stuck in the trees. I didn't talk about settings. I am running on... basically I went Ultra or whatever it's called, and then I tweaked... What did I tweak? Anti-aliasing mode, I think. Did I change that? I can't remember what I tweaked now. Oh, I changed it to performance. So I went to extreme. I think I was on extreme, and then I changed performance quality to performance. And that seems to be kind of the best for my system. I had a lot of like flickering with the anti-aliasing. So I went with the settings that made that less. So it looks really good now and it runs fine. My full specs are on the About section of the channel if you want to go check those out. Got a fairly decent system. Not state-of-the-art, but pretty beefy. And it runs great for me. I've got it locked at 60 FPS. Because that's what I record at. And it seems to be running fine. So we're finding a lot of copper. Finding everything except silicon. I might just have to dig some sand. Alright, sand it is. I hate sand. Gets everywhere. This is going to be slow, but it'd be worth it to have that solar panel. So what are the units? Let me just verify. That is kilograms. Okay. I needed what, 400? Or was it 4,000? I've already forgotten. Well, let's go back with this and we'll see if that's enough. If it's not enough, I'll have to do some more scouting. Also, you can just turn that off if you don't like it, and you can turn all of that off. Lots of options. Options are always good. Yeah, it's just kilograms. All right, cool. So we can finish up the solar. So I'd like to put this on a rotor and stuff, but I don't think we can build any of that stuff yet. Let's take a quick look before I call this episode. So if we say, let's just put one of those down, put one of those down, put one of those down. Yeah, I don't think we can. Yeah, we need a permanent magnet. And then, well, that I think we can make. That's just steel and stuff. So pistons we can make. But the hinge and the rotor, we need more advanced stuff. I don't think this makes a permanent magnet. So we may need like the assembler or some more advanced stuff to build that out. I'm not 100% sure. Never got you some iron, did I? All right. Anyway, so we got some stuff to do, but we can build the wheels, and those are going to be crucial. It's hard to make a rover without wheels. Let me just throw one of those on. I think they're just the basic stuff. If I switch to raw mode, yeah, it's just iron and nickel. So we're good on that. That's no problem. So, like I said, I will be gathering some resources between episodes. And next episode, we'll actually go about building the rover. And I'll decide if we're doing the scout rover or if we're going to make a roving base. I haven't decided yet. Thanks as always for watching, folks. I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care.